Demonstrate how the platform determines risk profiles and peer grouping. Exabeam employs both risk profiling and peer grouping. Exabeam determines risk profiles and peer groups dynamically based on patented machine learning techniques. Unlike other SIMs who only fetch from Active Directory, our algorithms constantly compute dynamic peer grouping based on a behavior along with hundreds of other attributes. And so we can see that here within Exabeam setup. I can bring in the Active Directory and start to select the group attributes that are known as typical peer groups. But then I can set on this dynamic peer grouping. And when this is set, Exabeam analyzes all of the different behaviors of any given user or device and dynamically builds peer groups around these attributes. And so the way that that comes to life in the product is here. If I'm looking at a user timeline, I can see this remote access to this particular, what looks like a staging server. And it's the first access for the user. It's also the first access for this particular peer group. And again, it'll tell you it's based on the application activity itself that we've seen in the past. So here we can actually see that this is peer grouping based off of Harrison Oliver, which is a manager. But you'll see all of the peer groups that we've actually associated and calculated this anomaly for. Other groups like Salesforce and the Council app. And you can see that we're giving the risk score to the highest score here. Each of them have an anchor score of 7, but the anomaly factor is much lower for the others. Now, if I wanted to, I can also click on this particular peer group and again, show you the peer group here up at the top. I can show you why this is particularly anomalous for this peer group. Again, this is the first time that it's happened. We have good confidence in this peer group. The group size is relatively small, only 2 members. We'll tell the analyst that this is because the peer group is of type manager. The application activity is what's driving this particular peer group association. And the membership. We say this is a somewhat strong membership. So we'll tell how strong any given membership or the cohesivity is based on the size of the group itself. So if I look at other peer groups, again, these are dynamically calculated. You can see this one's extremely weak, right? So the user doesn't have a lot in common with this particular peer group, and this is why it's also scored lower. Again, Salesforce, much larger peer group here, but again, extremely weak membership or attribution. So this is how Exabeam is able to leverage static insights from context data, but dynamically calculate different peer groups based on behavior. And then in real time during analytics, identify behavioral anomalies, not just for one peer group, but multiple peer groups, and then prioritize the highest risk score here.